Okay, let's get started. In this one, we're gonna make the back window. This is an easy one. So get on your base mesh, then select this loop, duplicate it like we did for the side windows, and then separate the selection. Then hide your base mesh and select your new back window. Reduce the subdivision count, turn off only rim, just like this. Perfect. Now we will need to dissolve some vertices here to make it less dense. Just like this. Slide another one over here and one at the top. Okay, that's good. Now select these vertices. Set your pivot to active element and make it flat, make it tangent. And now just making sure we have the same number at the top and the bottom, we can start connecting them in a few seconds. So yeah, this is good. We may need to add one here, just slide that over there. Perfect. Dissolve this one if needed, and then we'll start facing this area. So shade the smooth, and then to get rid of these big edges, we'll just need to add a loop cut. I'll just make this go inside a tiny bit. You can move it with GY or scale it towards a point that's closer to the front end, like I did. Same for here. Always do this with the pivot to active element, or else you will move the vertex you want to keep in place as well. So I'm gonna add some loop cuts here and there to match the number on both sides. And just like that, add a loop cut to finalize this here. Now that's good. Okay, so like we did for the side windows and windshield, let's just create two glass material. You can always adjust the tint independently if you have a different one for each window. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, second slat with the same material. And then a third slat with the black plastic material that we had before. Just like this. Now let's go into edit mode. And then I want to create a pillar on this corner that will be behind. So just like this, I will assign it this material. So you can remove the shrink wrap modifier, we won't need it for now. And just like that, we have a new pillar coming from nowhere inside the glass. Okay, select those two loops at the top and the bottom, just like this. And then we'll assign them the second glass material, so the new solidified faces have the plastic material. Okay, that looks pretty damn good. You can always play with the roughness or with the color. Mostly of the plastic, obviously, because the glass you want to keep its roughness to 0, or very close to it at least. So I know you shouldn't put metallic to a value between 0 or 1. It should always be 0 or 1, but it also makes the material darker. So I'm just using it to like darken the plastic and make it more interesting to look at. Alright, let's just make this a new panel so it's not connected with the roof when we edit it later on. I'll just see if it looks good with a black roof. See what it looks like. And it's alright, but I don't know. Do what you want. So yeah, it's important to try and experiment stuff with different color scheme and different graphic design. Okay, let's put that back to the same color. Okay, now let's do some heavier work. You may remember that I said the doors were pretty small. Well, let's make them taller and wider, especially the back one. So selecting the black plastic part, we'll just slide this loop until it reaches the panel gap between the two doors. Then delete this face here. Slide this here until it reaches the panel gap, add a loop cut there, and delete that face. So I'll just add loop cut and connect it to the loop that forms the panel gap. Then I want to slide it down, and same for these two. I will connect them together, add loop cut here, and make it flat with the one at the bottom. Then I will just slide over there and face this area just like that. This one doesn't have enough vertices, so I will just delete the face, add loop cut at the bottom over here, and just do this. Add loop cut over there, then face that area up. Oh wait, yes, do it. We may need to add loop cut over here before. Okay, loop cut here, here. So we have a loop that follows the bottom. Okay, connect those two together, create a face there, delete that face, sorry. Then create a loop and slide it down, then face up that area, just like that. And now we have a shape that we can split into the doors. So separate that selection, just like this. And don't worry about it if it looks ugly for now. And we'll separate this part for the back doors. So I will add loop cuts to tighten this area. Same for this one here. Just like this. Just like that. We could create a loop that follows the contour, but it won't be needed for this one. I mean, it would be a good idea to do it, as it would make the panel gap more even, but I decided to just go with this kind of lazy method. Okay, same here. You could have done a loop that follows the contour, but I won't do it. It's not needed for this one, especially since it won't be very visible. And plastic is less reflective, so the panel gap will pick up less light and will be less visible anyway. So don't try to make it as perfect as for the car paint parts, unless you want to make it a car paint material. But yeah, let's do it. Anyway, I think we should take the time to do it properly. So let's add a loop cut here and merge them at center, then turn on auto merge and slide these until they collapse with the other one. And now you should have a loop that goes from here to there. Now let's just make this a bit prettier, because this area is a bit ugly. Especially this one here. But we don't have too many options for this. So this is the part that could have been done on a different base mesh. I think it could have been worth it to just create a base mesh alone for that plastic part, so it wouldn't interfere with the car paint, like we can see here. Okay, let's do the same for the front now. Let's just select those two vertices, add loop cut there, and merge them at center. Okay, this one might be a bit trickier. What if you face this area? Okay, add loop cut here, and we'll just connect it like this. And boom, our doors are extended, at least the bottom of them. Okay, that looks pretty clean. I'll always check in cycles, because Solid View can give you false impressions sometimes. So I'll just slide this a tiny bit over there. Okay, now for that door. For the front one, it will be pretty easy. Let's just select those two vertices and merge them with the other one over there. And slide this as far up front as we can. Yep, sorry, I forgot to merge all of that loop. So, okay, slide it over there, towards the front. Let's just move it using the y-axis. And then pushing it up as much as we can. Now for this, let's do the same here. Just like that. Perfect. Now we need to extend the bottom as well. So select the two objects at the same time and go into edit mode to allow us to make more precise and quicker changes. Okay, so this is as far front that we can push it. Now let's continue this panel gap up into the front window. So I will just slide this loop over here and just slide it over here. Don't worry too much about the corner for now. We're going to restore it later. So make this straight and we'll add a loop cut to get the shape that we lost earlier. I will just slide this down. Just straightening this up. Okay, select those faces, then we're gonna separate the selection. Add a loop cut here to make the panel gap less wide, and same for here. And there we go. Now for the back door. This is gonna require a bit heavier work, so open those two at the same time, and this is going to require a bit of tinkering. We're going to dissolve this loop that follows the contour over here until we have a very rough panel gap, as if we were just separating it from the base mesh like before. Okay, I will just delete this section over here. And then since it's a very straight panel, we can just extrude some vertices, just like that. So straighten them on the y-axis, like this. And since it's projected onto the base mesh, we don't have to worry too much about positioning them. So do the same for the bottom, just extrude them, then make them straight until they align with the panel gap of the second door. And just like this. Let's move them to the front and add loop cut to make that panel a bit prettier. Same for this one, and we'll just make it straight. Always prettier with straight panels. Slide this back, just like this. Now we still have an issue at the bottom, but it can just be solved by sliding vertices. Now for this part, let's just select use a knife tool, and then we will create a straight line from this vertex to up here, up to the D pillar, like the last one that we created. No, I think it's C pillar. Yes, C pillar. My bad. Okay, merge those vertices. Same for the top over there. Now we will need to retopo this region. Merge those two together. Select those faces and delete them. It's always easier sometimes to just get rid of a section of faces than try to rebuild it with the ones you have. Okay, so I deleted those to create a perfect space to work on here. Face that area. Slide this here. Create a new loop to have the same number at the top and the bottom. Or wait, yes. Face this area before, so it's easier. It's just gonna save us some seconds. Okay, now we have a line that we can use to create a panel. Create a loop cut and slide it really close to the other one. Like this. Then select those faces, hide them. Press L to select all the linked faces. Then we're going to unhide them. And just like this, move it back. And these we should have a line that follows the panel gap. Like this. And now for this section, this is relatively easy. So let's slide this over here until it's at the same place as our panel gap. Then separate the selection, create a new loop cut. Now I guess you get the idea. And we'll just need to merge them together. So select the door and the last and press Ctrl J. Dissolve some loops so we don't have as many to deal with as before. Add another one here and select those two vertices and merge them at center or by distance if you are precise enough. And yes, turn off auto merge. It's going to save us some time and problems. Same here, always check in wireframe to see if there aren't any bugs. Okay, now I need a loop over here as well, since you can see it's pretty messy. So I will create a new one on the top, the bottom, sorry, and merge this at center or at last, doesn't really matter, since they're so close together. And they're projected onto the base mesh. Okay, now we have the door. Let's just see if we can do something else to improve upon. Now this is a bit overdue, so let's just remove it. Same for this one. And I would just add another one in the middle. Just like this. Slide it a bit closer. Okay. I'll just make this a bit more tinted by switching up to another glass material. Just like this. And we're pretty much done for this part. See you next time.